Okay, hi everyone. Uh, everyone's coming on. We've got a big group with us today. I see Robert there. Everybody, Amanda. Yeah, yeah. Well, welcome to this session today. And yeah, I feel such a joy for being here. Helena kind of invited me this week and to see if there was something that was inspiring in my mind, a movie that would really touch the heart. And I felt something of like an adventure come into my mind. Something felt very kind of like expansive, a feeling that was starting to come in. And this year, I feel in particular, I don't know why, but I feel like this big energy of something quite expansive. And I know David has talked about this year too as being a year of the old falling away or of things that no longer serve us falling away. And something feels really beautiful about that. The past is starting to fall away. And instead, we're starting to feel something very expansive that's coming in. And I see it in reflections this year of I can see Sam and Lauren on the screen. Like you guys took off this year on your trip into Holland and had no idea, not starting in Holland, going to Europe and like had no idea of what was going to come next, the miracles that were going to unfold. And you're totally in it right now and taking it day by day and seeing how the Spirit will provide. And and I feel something with that, with this energy of being right on the edge, of being right in the miracle, because it's the most alive thing ever. It's the most alive place to be, like sitting right at the edge, where it's also like, okay, Spirit, just show me. I have no idea what's coming next. But something feels so vast about that. Yeah, this year also too. Just I booked a ticket with Helena to Japan a couple days ago, and that's going to be later in the year in July. But something feels very inspiring about that too. And I've often heard about Japan even talked about as being like another world. It's like any kind of like customs that you're used to, even coming from Mexico in particular. There's a certain way of doing things and talking with each other, and Japan is just a totally other thing. But something feels expansive about that too, like a totally new scene, the unfamiliar, going somewhere where you don't have anything old to relate to, not in the same old ways. And so you're really there right on the edge. And what I feel also is like I feel this desire to want to connect and to connect in a deeper way. And I know there's a gigantic heart calling there. And that's what feels most inspiring for me right now is this call of the heart and wanting to connect with my brother. I'm feeling my own call for love that's coming through. And I guess it hasn't always felt that obvious to me, maybe before, but now it's just like even the desires of wanting some kind of form outcome or this would look great to me, this kind of if I could be here or this kind of property or whatever it is, or even some perception of like what does it mean to be like even like a spiritual teacher, or those old kind of concepts, they start to fall away like more and more. And then you're just left with, I really feel my heart wants something sweet. It's like calling for this sweetness, this kind of like sweet connection. Yeah, and with that too, I just kind of feel like there's this falling away of the past. And like I mentioned, like there's something where, I love that song that David sings. I can't remember the lyrics now, but like it's the one where like everything's, fine, but not great, like but not good. It's that song he sings about like, everything's going along fine, but it's not good. And somewhere that's becoming more intolerable too. Like just being okay with being fine. Yeah, I kind of feel like we're calling for something much larger, something much more expansive in our mind where we start to feel like, I really want my heart to feel like it's glowing. I really want to feel like I'm really in this glowing presence with my brother and I feel like I'm totally lit up. So there's something in this movie today that I feel like is calling that forth from me. And yeah, I don't know whether yeah, so the movie I have in my mind is Walter Mitty, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I can see some smiles here. It's a very it's one we watched a few times before, but it's been a while for me since the last time I saw it. But I love this movie so much. Um, every time I watch this, my heart just opens up. It starts to feel so expansive. And in this journey too with Walter, he's going to go from a life that looks is okay. He's fine, seemingly, but he's living a very small version of himself. It's a very small self-image. And what's beautiful too, even in this movie, is that it starts with the calling of the heart right away. You'll see there's something in him where you'll see he opens up his little schedule book and he has all these things planned. His life is kind of like planned and organized. But then you'll see he's also opening up to there's somebody at his work, Cheryl Melhoff. And she's like this one that he just feels like his heart gl starts to glow when he's near her, and there's something that's drawing him, this attraction of love in his mind. And so there's an opening there. There's a crack towards something that feels more expansive. And yet there's such a high fear level of intimacy as well. And this movie starts with this hilarious scene where Cheryl is on eHarmony, this dating website, and so is he. And he's found her on this site, and he's just like standing over his computer. He won't even talk to her at work yet. And he's found her and he thinks he has to kind of come about things in this kind of he thinks he's being romantic. He has some kind of like idea, but it's really like a cover over being direct and like going directly towards her. But he's so afraid even just to send a wink. There's like a little action you can send in this dating app, a wink. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And you'll see even seemingly when he kind of goes for it, the computer fails because it's a reflection of his mind. He's like, oh, even that was too much. But he has to take these like steps. And even in this movie, like he seemingly even has this he calls Todd from eHarmony, and Todd is the guy who's going to be like helping him out with his profile, his dating profile. And it's a first step towards like starting to have a look at himself. Like, how are you viewing yourself? Are you adventurous in your life? What have you done? Have you been anywhere? He's trying to like write this profile. And you can see, even as he starts to go into this and starting to look at himself, his mind, like he can see he has this kind of bland self-image, like I haven't done anything, I haven't been anywhere. And also, you'll see in this movie, he starts to kind of go into these little zoning out periods where his mind just goes into dream and these like dream sequences. And it's almost like his cover over his life has become so tight and his self-image is so small that he feels like it has to burst out somewhere else into fantasy and he just totally zones out where he's blank. He can't, they're like tapping him on the head and he's like totally blank. And it's a reflection of us, of the mind that is trying to go to the past to look for something that feels like where it feels like its grandiosity is. It has a grandiose image of itself. And he plays things out like there'll be like an interaction that feels intense for him. And suddenly, instead of like going looking directly at it and speaking up, he goes and he plays out some kind of defense in his dream where he's like totally courageous and he's fighting the person or he's going on an adventure and he plays out these wild scenes. but it's all like this kind of cover over for a very small kind of self-image. But yeah, these little cracks start to happen. And he does have this opportunity to start to speak up, and the spirit gives an opportunity. And it's wonderful too because it's in this same vein of letting things fall away. And it seems to be just like uncomfortable. It seems to be uncomfortable at first. At his work, it seems that the company's being taken over. He works at this magazine, Life magazine, and he's been the negative asset manager is his job title. When photos come in, he's like, and there's all this like adventurous cover photos that come into Life magazine with people going out on adventures, and he gets all these reflections around him of great grand adventures, and he's down in the basement working with the photos of these adventures. He's managing his negative assets. And so he's down there, but this company is going to be like they're going to make it into an online thing, and all these people are being let go of in his company. So seemingly things are falling away. It looks like his job is up for, he doesn't know if he's going to have the job much longer. That might all fall away. But it does create this crack where it's kind of like, and seemingly there's this big thing that comes in the movie where a photo goes missing. Like there's this very important photo for the final cover of the printed magazine of Life magazine, and he's responsible seemingly for this photo, but it goes missing. And the spirit is going to use this as like he has this mission. I have to find the missing photo, and there's like clues to find the missing photo. But the spirit is using this whole setup for one to bring him closer towards Cheryl at his work, and she's helping him find the clues. But also, there's like an invitation there for him to take steps to step out of his work, and he's going to be invited to like go to another country to search for the photographer who's taken this photo and to find out where's this missing photo? I can't find it. But he has to step outside of his comfort zone to take these first steps. And you'll see, like, he could have just played into the littleness, fallen into despair, but there's an invitation there to step out of that. So, just in this kind of theme of littleness and moving out of littleness, I did want to read a little bit from chapter 15 in the course, Littleness versus Magnitude, because it just kind of gives a really setup for his state of mind. Be not content with littleness, but be sure you understand what littleness is and why you could never be content with it. Littleness is the offering you give yourself. You offer this in place of magnitude, and you accept it. Everything in this world is little because it is a world made out of littleness, in the strange belief that littleness can content you. When you strive for anything in this world, in the belief that it will bring you peace, you are belittling yourself and blinding yourself to glory. Littleness and glory are the choices open to your striving and your vigilance. You will always choose one at the expense of the other. Yet what you do not realize each time you choose is that your choice is an evaluation of yourself. Choose littleness, and you will not have peace, for you will have judged yourself unworthy of it. And whatever you offer as a substitute is much too poor a gift to satisfy you. It is essential that you accept the fact, and accept it gladly, that there is no form of littleness that can ever content you. You are free to try as many times as you wish, but all you will be doing is to delay your homecoming, for you will be content only in magnitude, which is your home. So it paints this beautiful picture. And I think we can all kind of relate to areas of our lives where we've kind of felt small, or it kind of hasn't felt as expansive as it could be. And I think, the ego puts things down to personal responsibility. Maybe there's some kind of thought in the mind of like, wow, I wish I could open up to God. I wish I could just feel like I'm living life on the edge. But I can't because my life looks this way, or family responsibilities or work responsibilities. And in the movie too, that's what our main character Walter is coming up against as well. You'll see he has like a very deep sadness in his mind, a hurt from the past, because when he was 17 in the movie, seemingly, he had a very close connection with his father, and his father was very encouraging of his adventurous, wild side. He let him have a mohawk and these kinds of things, and he was really, really encouraging. And then his father suddenly dies when he's 17, and the family doesn't have much savings, and seemingly he changes into this role of like, okay, well, now I have to be the responsible one and take care of everybody. I got to put this adventurous side beside, like, put it to the side. Seemingly at that time too, he had a backpack ready to go traveling with a friend of his, and a travel book his father had given him, a journal to fill out. And those things are left to the side for like 30 years and like left blank and in a box somewhere. And so he's taken on this false image of responsibility, being the responsible one. And it's meant to come in there almost of this, like with guilt of like, instead of really passionately chasing your dreams, you need to let go of that and you need to just kind of do what is right, do the right kind of thing. And he feels like his sister is the irresponsible one. He projects that onto her. She's the wacky one. So I have to step in and be even more responsible to take care of my family and everything. I found this I was asking David AI about responsibility because it seems to be very deeply wound in, and sometimes we're just not even aware of how much we do out of this feeling of responsibility, or yeah, still playing like a role, like I should be the good son and the good son does this, and or the good mother or whatever it is. So this is what David AI said about responsibility, or false responsibility. False responsibility refers to the belief that one is responsible for various aspects of the world, such as linear time, ambitions, goals, regrets, grievances, and the body. The only true responsibility, according to the Course, is to accept the correction in your mind for the belief in separation. This acceptance of atonement is your sole responsibility and leads you back to divine innocence. Examples of false responsibilities include taking on responsibilities related to work, family, physical needs, maintenance tasks, and other external obligations that distract from accepting the correction for separation. By focusing on horizontal responsibilities rather than accepting atonement vertically, in the mind, individuals become entangled in a web of false responsibilities that hinder their spiritual growth and limit their experience of joy and freedom. The Course emphasizes that morality and ethics are constructs of the ego as well. While ethics may guide behavior based on societal norms, true purification comes from aligning thoughts with the Holy Spirit's guidance. And it goes on a little bit. True responsibility lies in aligning with divine truth within the mind and letting go of ego-based beliefs and judgments. So there's this web that we're hardly aware of responsibility in the mind that's telling us, keep little, just do your part. It looks like this. Don't step outside of that too much. And it's beautiful that Walter reaches this point in this movie where he's feeling like, and it's through this call for love, and it's where he starts to feel like his world is starting to tremble a bit. The job is starting to tremble. And at the same time, he's feeling this call for love. And that's starting to come into awareness even more, and this call for connection. And so And there's this beautiful thing too where he feels this connection to Sean O'Connell, who's the photographer, and he has a photo of him in his office. And Sean is played by, is it Sean or he's played by Sean Penn? And let me see if I got the name right. Yeah, Sean O'Connell. And he's got this like adventurous photo in the office where he's got his camera and he's got his hand out and he's like, seems to be gesturing to Walter, come, come. And he's like, and Sean is this symbol to Walter of total adventure and leaping into the unknown. By the way, that's my theme for the movie today, courageously leaping into the unknown, stepping into the unknown. So there's this opportunity there that Walter has to take these steps while he feels like his world is starting to shake. And you can see like he could try to do something else, like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to buckle down and try to find another job. But through the symbols that are given, he's actually feeling called to take a step out of his comfort zone. And you're going to see like he's going to like hop on a plane and going to fly to Greenland. And there's this really beautiful, expansive vistas in this movie too, where he steps out and it's just like totally unlike this basement that he's been living in for the past, 30 years or whatever it is. And it's going to be so expansive for his mind. Just not just the setting, but like this taking steps, and he has all these choice points that are going to come in. Will I just go back to littleness, or will I take this next step in trust with the spirit? You'll see, like there can be like these kind of moments that feel like dangerous, like he's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. But it's all like a setup from the spirit. Like he's actually safe each step of the way. But it's going to have to come down to a point of will he let this calling for love in his heart be the thing that's going to draw him, or is he going to go back to safety again? And so that's a huge theme in the movie is like he's going to have to find safety in the present moment. He's finding safety in the unknown, but he's really finding safety in the spirit, in the call of God, in the call of the heart. That's the one thing that truly keeps us safe because living out of protection of the body is living in fear. And he's done that, and he's done that for all of his life. And now there's something more that's calling him. Yeah, so I don't know if there's much more to say about it at this point. But this is going to be such an adventure, and I'm going to, pause it a few times throughout. But it's such a wonderful one to watch. And I think I don't know why this movie has come back to me so many times through the years because it just if there's ever a stuck point where you feel like you're just kind of going through like a to-do list, a day-to-day to-do list, or or just feeling like, well, I don't know how to take another step, and this feels safe for me right now, but is there anything more? This movie is just such a can opener for the heart. Like it feels like it just totally opens things up. Like it introduces the question back into the mind. What if I could leap out? What if I could like just step forward, leap out with the spirit? And so it just invites this readiness in the heart, which I really love. So I kind of feel like, I at least watch this one once a year, and it's always to open things up again. And I think just as this year is starting out too, I feel like it's a really good one to set the tone. So if anyone's watching on YouTube or Facebook, you'd like to join us, you still can. We're here, got quite a big group here in the Zoom room. So yeah, you're very, very welcome. And I hope you all enjoy this movie. We're gonna go out on a big journey together, and so we can start it off. So enjoy.